Welcome back to All Important Sunday here at NXL E1. We're in Tampa Bay. My name is Matt Falby. I'm lucky enough to be joined in the booth once again by
Dan Sensi.
Dan, at first we're going to watch, we got BR Factory versus Collision. On the backside of that, we're going to see WYLDSIDE Distortion versus Totem. BR Factory and WYLDSIDE Distortion got here by virtue of a bye, 4-0 if I'm not mistaken in the prelims. Here we are.
That's correct.
Yeah. Totem had to fight their way in to get into this match. Same thing for Collision.
I actually think that Collision also went 4-0, but because it was the 16 bracket with Distortion won the bracket.
Yeah.
And they didn't play each other.
So they had to fight their way in.
So they ended up being a lower seed just by virtue of margin.
Well, here we are. We got obviously 0-0-15 on the clock. BR Factory, maybe if you look at the previous, maybe a slight favor to win this, but let's go.
So LA Collision losing their Dorito runner on the break.
Relatively conservative pocket play for BR Factory over here.
They aren't Collision losing a second player out of the Dorito side.
BR Factory starting to make their pushes up the middle. They're into this stand-up wedge at about the 40-yard line. First point, very important. You don't want to take huge risks. You don't want to do anything stupid.
But so much pressure being applied by the center player of BR Factory, just cutting off the entire Dorito half the field, not letting that back center fill out at all.
Have not seen that true middle can used too much this weekend. This is a rather unusual play by BR Factory. It's working.
Looks like he's going to crawl his way out to the Dorito side wedge and increase his angle.
Yeah.
And get the pinch on that back center going, because backside cans are not fun to play in.
BR Factory now into Snake One, starting to make their secondaries. Snake 2, that's Ronnie Tyner.
Just eats the tower alive. It is now a 2-on-5, and they have the Snake, they have the center, and they're going to start pressing into bodies. Ben Challenger, it looks like trying to move up and catch a body. Oh, Ronnie. That's not Ben Challenger in there. Who is it? Number 5.
Ronnie now up here into the
Castro.
Snake. Number 32 for BR Factory is going to turn to the inside, see if he can pick up Dorito side mini temple. Good news for him. The Collision opponent in the Snake is not looking his way.
Yeah, I think they're going to play pretty defensive here. If that Dorito side player can find a way out, there's a really, really great bounce shot from the Dorito 1 into that brick off of the little mini wing there. It's great.
I've actually seen it work today. We've already had a Snake player blown out by that bounce shot. Tyner trying to reestablish gun dominance here. He's got that mini brick under his spell. He's going to switch off to the inside, look for another lane.
He's going to go underneath it.
Is he going to go for the crawl bunker? Meaning bunkering, but crawling doing it? Because I don't like gunfighting from where he is. He's going to try to gunfight from their S3. There it is. Nice shot.
That's a good trade.
Yep, fine trade for them.
Because now it's a 4-on-1.
This is Joey DiPolito trying to finish it out from that brick.
And hits the Dorito 1 on the move.
There you go. Nice closeout. So for Tyner, that was a timely trade. Totally worth the body trade there. Let his buddy DiPolito finish that out. Point 1 is going to go to BR Factory.
It's a really impressive win.
Yep, they didn't seem to struggle in that one.
I mean, LA Collision is coached by the legendary Tom
Hinman.
Hinman, yeah. It's Mike Hinman is maybe the greatest brain in paintball. He has brought multiple players and teams from Division III to pro.
High praise.
So I expect him to make some adjustments.
I feel
come out swinging the next point.
I'm going to talk big picture paintball meta. I feel like this season we saw more and more info about salaries of players, especially in the pro level, moving back and forth. I still don't know much of anything about what coaches are demanding at semi-pro or pro level. I'm sure somebody out there knows. I wonder what the pay scale looks like.
Sure, in most cases it's negative money.
Yeah, for most places it's just, I'll do it. I like you guys. But it's such a deciding factor on how well these teams do. At some point, the really good coaches are probably going to start demanding real salaries if they haven't already. And anyways, we got WYLDSIDE Distortion versus TIKIS Totem. Distortion on your left, Totem on your right.
We're looking at 4-on-5 paintball. Distortion losing a body.
Distortion pushing
Playing
up the middle.
out of that snake. That is Nate Roberts in the middle.
Distortion with no tape presence either in the snake or the Dorito. Dorito's very attainable for them, but snake is going to be a lot to ask. They're not in a great position to push up this, to get a body into it and push it. They're kind of trapped in the middle. Totem's still 5 alive.
Totem is standing real strong up out of the snake insert right now. And they're going to double it, and he's going to go. Fight their way in.
He's got to control that middle can. If he does, he's going to let his teammate go. For WYLDSIDE, this tower needs to get on the snake. He does, but it's a little bit too late. Wow, interesting run pattern by Totem player. Takes an inside lane and then jumps over the beam into the snake.
He's seeing the paint real well out there to make that read. That's an excellent move. Oh, and losing the Dorito player for Distortion.
WYLDSIDE down to just 3 players left. They're all stuck up the middle. They've got no tape presence either side.
Now, Roberts, it looks like, does manage to get a kill out of the Dorito side. Can't see who that is exactly. And another Totem player, Marchese, Devin Marchese, making a bad read. I think that's Zach Hogue up there in the center can now, trying to cut off the snake side and catch any unaware fillers again.
Yeah, he's setting up a trap, looking for somebody to attempt to run through. Instead, he's going to take one on the hopper, and he's going to take a walk. So that leaves just 2 WYLDSIDE players again in a really tough defensive situation when you're stacked in line down the middle of the field.
Tiki's filling all the way out around the snake corner into the first brick of the snake. Distortion's can checking him out. Oh, and another Tiki's player walking off.
Roberts doesn't have a lot of options here for where he can go. His back player, though, could choose a side, swing out one way or the other, and help spread the field.
Roberts over there is shooting people.
This is, yeah, you're right. He's getting kills, so I shouldn't complain. But that said, without getting a bunch of kills and pushing the field, he's stuck where he is. There's going to be an attempt to
he's going to go right
match.
now.
Yep.
Did they trade?
Roberts going to walk. I'm not sure if he took his...
They did.
Yeah,
they trade.
There you go.
So that's a good trade. It is now a, 2-on-1?
Yeah. Last player at home for WYLDSIDE Distortion.
Or is it a 1-on-1?
No, missed shot. WYLDSIDE Distortion player into that Dorito 1. He's going to live.
And the Tiki's player taking a bounce.
Look at the pack,
taking
though.
Another
Kyle is
bounce.
out of paint. Kyle's just got what's in his hopper at this point. I mean, for a 1-on-1, you don't need a lot of paint, but
how much paint?
He misses the move. No, there it is, up to D50. He knows about it now. Actually, both players out of pods. They're just playing with what's in their hopper, what they can scrounge off the ground. That's Eckerd. That's John Eckerd.
His height is going to give him a little bit of an advantage here. Now it's a race to the buzzer. It's a race to the buzzer.
Here we go. Oh, my God.
And John's going to get it.
What an ending to the first point for Distortion and Totem. Totem's going to win it on a foot race.
John made the decision a split second before Kyle did, and gets there.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. WYLDSIDE wins that one on a foot race. Again, having long legs, that kind of helps. That's not fair. There should be some kind of handicap in a foot race in this situation. Both players out of paint. You know why?
Completely out of paint.
Yeah, completely out of paint. That's another reason that it turned into a buzzer foot race. Each one of them didn't know the other guy was out of paint, or they might have stuck into that gunfight a little bit longer. But desperation forces a foot race. What a great finish to the first point here.
20 seconds.
Giving our viewers everything they came for. Here we go. Collision on your left. They're down by a point.
And Collision taking a much more pocket approach this time.
Yep.
You know, they lost their Dorito one on the break last time, and now they're only in the insert.
BR Factory up to this middle 50 standing wedge on the snake side.
Yeah, that's Aaron Rios. Smart, intelligent player.
Snake Tower being occupied by Los Angeles Collision. They're still doubled up at home. Not a place you want to be, especially with the 50 starting to get hot.
Yeah, and with the center just cutting off the side like that. And gets a shot on Ben Challenger.
Challenger's going to take a walk. If there's any good news for his home players, now they have a place to go. They can just get out of that trap.
Yeah. So it's still 5-on-4. And with the penetration that Rios has up the center for Bear Ridge, this side is unplayable right now. You have to find a way to get on the other side or eliminate Rios and open up the attack for the Snake side, because that door is shut.
The doubled up home players switch which side of the field they're shooting. I don't know how to board them or some kind of longer term tactical plan. I'm not sure what that was all about. But BR Factory is really pushed into a pocket here. I'm sorry. Let me take it
BR
back.
Factory loses Cody Smick.
Collision is back in the pack.
And Dippolito as well.
Just their home player and that mini temple alive for Collision.
Rios is...
Big run.
Oh, Rios taking a shot, so I think it is now a 1-on-2 in favor of Collision.
I think Collision
Collision just losing a player.
Yeah, they lost that.
We're losing bodies everywhere right now. There is a BR Factory player out there. We do not know where it is, and that is Ramirez getting shot.
Overruns. I love his run to this brick, but he should have stopped there for a second, assessed the situation. Instead, he bypassed it.
I can't tell where the BR Factory player is, period. Full stop. He's Dorito 3 maybe, 50 Dorito, inside the little cake. He could be anywhere over there.
I think it's D1. But yeah, Ramirez, I loved his run up to the brick, but he just shouldn't have kept going. And that's going to cost him the match. Great counter punch, though.
Good.
All right, BR Factory is going to go up 2-0 on that one. We're going to go back to TIKIS Totem versus WYLDSIDE Distortion. 1 point differential, essentially a new game, 11.5 on the clock. So after this, you're going to watch the semifinals of the semi-pro division. There's a lot of blanks there. We don't know who's going to be the ones in there. We do have the TPP crew versus Sacramento DMG and the Wrecking crew versus Shut Up We're Trying. After this, they're going to decide who's filling out that bracket along with this match.
Let's see what TIKIS does to respond here. Looks like
Tiki's
5 alive for Distortion.
Yeah, Tiki 5 alive, doubled up at home, both mini temples and this Snake Tower. Very, very standard breakout.
Yeah, I'm seeing about the same breakout for Distortion, except they went to Dorito 1 instead of the Dorito insert.
This layout's owner's manual says this is your standard breakout, and both teams go ahead and choose to accept that.
Nate Roberts looking like he moved all the way into the center wedge already. And I can't see which way he's shooting, but whichever way he's shooting, that's another spot you like to be to shut off any of the secondary moves out of those inserts.
Zudel working the tower over here for Tikis. He's going to stay on that Dorito side, trying to limit the move up between the D2 and the D3. Kill over there. That's successful for Totem. Distortion player walking off from the Dorito side.
Yep. That is Nate Roberts coming off. Let's see, I think that's Alex Zudel in the Snake side tower for Tiki Totem.
Huge run up by Totem. They're up to that Dorito side 50 brick. He's going to turn, start doing damage.
And
yeah, that mini temple is in huge
Mike
trouble
Unger
from the brick.
Getting shot out of the
there it is.
Snake side insert.
If you walk this field, you know that mini temple on the Snake side is almost unlivable once that Dorito brick is there. Unfortunately, they're going to fill it in again. Let's see how it works out. Bold decision, Cotton. Let's see how that works out.
I think that's John Eckert in there. I can't see who's in the brick for Tikis, but he is wrapped, and I believe that's 1, 2. But Eckert looked like he got a shot on the Snake side tower.
Yeah,
so he is getting bodies, and he has gun dominance on his mirror. You might see him sneak into the Snake here if he catches that back center switching sides one more time.
Devin looking for an opportunity to get into that Snake. He needs to control his mirror. He needs to control his mirror not only to allow himself to get into it, but prevent his mirror from taking the Snake.
Yeah, he is playing 2-on-1, though, so the second he gets dominance on that insert,
there it is.
John getting shot.
Devin should take the Snake now. I think he can almost just walk right up to the 50.
I don't have the full count for distortion. There is a Dorito 2 over there, but I think that's it.
I believe you're correct.
And he's
now there's a bunkering attempt. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't need to. He gets shot long distance first. Tiki's tying it up.
Devin's going to trot in and hit that buzzer. Tied up 1-1. We're going to have about 8.5 on the clock-ish by the time this button's hit.
This really goes a long way to show how important it is to get that first kill.
Oh, yeah.
The first kill is a lot of fields at 4-on-5, it's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Here, if you're 4-on-5 and you're trapped, it's very difficult to come back.
I think there's also like a yes and. I'll do the yes and, the improv move here. I think it's yes and maybe 10% of that advantage is not just the kill but the psychological. The first team that loses a body oftentimes kind of mentally seizes up just a little bit. They become instantly a little less aggressive. They take an extra second before deciding to make their bumps.
Yeah, you do have to be a little more careful.
Yeah.
Just to preserve your body.
Yep.
Because you don't want to be 3-on-5.
This is also an interesting field to me because all the other layouts have been so favorable to obviously getting to the snake. The middle push has been the dominant thing that we've seen on this layout kind of all weekend. Not exclusively, but at a much higher percentage than normal.
Collision going up the center, losing a body on the break out of the snake side insert. So, again, Collision down a body early.
BR Factory doubling up the middle, now into the D1. Oh, D1 does not work out for BR Factory.
So Collision is in the center wedge. So I don't think BR Factory knows. And as a result, the guy tried to make a bump out or played it a little too loose and was able to get picked up.
All right, well, BR Factory 4 alive. They're up by 2 points, 9 on the clock.
So that's
BR Factory at home at the Snakeside Mini Temple. They're at the Snake Tower, and they're up the middle in the standing wedge at the 40-yard line.
Yeah. Collision is pretty trapped in the center, but they're so strong on their guns, and it doesn't seem to be bothering them at all.
BR Factory is not setting themselves up to take the snake. Now, that may not be a bad idea because this Snake Tower is still hot for Collision. Any attempt to take the snake right now would probably result in their death. That might be Rios trapped in the Mini Temple. Or it might be Blaine Povo.
It's Povo.
Okay.
Rios got shot in the pack. He doesn't know.
That's going to be a minor.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Now BR Factory is in full cross it up, lock it down mode, hope for the best.
I didn't see where that shot came from, but getting shot in your pack from where he was at is either your own team or a bounce shot off the pin.
Yeah.
And there is a bounce shot off the pin.
Yeah.
But I don't think they shot it.
So a shot from your team also could have been a bounce off of something else.
So Castro now in the 50. Snake
home
applying
is in
a ton of pressure.
BR Factory home is in a lot of trouble. Povo scrunched down. He's got to keep his pack tight. He's got one pod left, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and now Jordan Boyum, I think that is moving forward. Collision is on their side of the field, blocking out,
there you go,
eating him alive, and
Povo. Poor Povo.
Vince Newell coming through the center.
Oh no.
But Jordan's
going to get a minor?
I don't.
Yeah, he's got one on his left thigh. The question is, when did it occur?
Yeah.
Well,
so
I don't know what?
I don't know who they pulled to serve that, though. Or maybe somebody behind him got a minor?
I heard Collision arguing that should be a major. And if you think about the sequence of events, he bunkered out the last player. How could he have a hit on him unless he shot the last player with a hit on himself? Unless it was a trade. If it was a straight up trade, that's fine. But the refs were already throwing a flag on it.
Yeah, but it's BR Factory that's arguing that it should be a major. But Collision had 3 bodies out there.
So they should be able to fulfill it even?
Yeah, it should be. They should be fine.
Refs having a discussion right now.
Because let's assume it's a major, Boyum gets a major. Vince Newell was out there. Castro was out there. And I think Ramirez as well for sure. And there's another body. I don't know who else it was.
The refs are going into CSI mode. They're trying to reconstruct the scene of the crime here and figure out what is the appropriate call. The coaches for both teams listening respectively. Not interjecting yet. The refs are going to pull out that board with all the tacks and the string connecting pictures.
I mean,
all right, they're trying to figure it out.
You know, BR Factory's pod runner should be out there grabbing all the. They dropped a lot of pods on the ground. There's a lot of paint out there. And there's a great opportunity to get a nice, slow, thorough pod run in. Running pods is hard. It is hard work. It is not fun.
Were you here when we saw a penalty on a pod runner?
I wasn't. That was yesterday morning?
Yeah, I think it was yesterday morning. The first time I've seen that in just about forever. Pod runner was in the middle of the field under fire after the game started, so which is an appropriate penalty. It's a hard knock life for pod runners that only gets worse in that situation. And what are you going to do as a team? Are you going to rip your pod runner a new one when he's probably just volunteering and doing grunt work?
There's pod runners out here that they're just here to run pods.
Yeah.
And they'll say, hey, $40, $50 a match.
All right, so there's money.
So it's $5 a guy.
You know what? That makes them employees. That means you can yell at them if they screw up.
Yeah.
All right.
They also, at that point, are professionals.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't screw up.
Yeah, any moment now we're going to see pod riders unionize, and that wage is going to go up to maybe $60 a match instead of $50.
We need to labor dispute, rewrite the rules that pod runners are part of the field.
Yeah.
No penalties can be thrown.
All right, refs still trying to sort out the situation on that one.
How did they handle that? Did they just throw a minor and take a body?
Yeah, well, not in that game because it was from the other match that was occurring. So the next match,
they started down a body.
Yeah, I believe they had to start down a body. I mean, what else can you do? You're not going to penalize the teams that are on the field. It's not their fault.
I have seen in the split deck format players arguing with refs, like on the far side of the field, when the next point is starting.
Oh, they have not left the field yet. They're staying on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that, and then they have to run off the field.
I think generally if you're up against the net and you're out of the line of play, I think the refs will generally just tell you to get the hell off the field and not penalize you. But did you say you saw him on the other side of the field? Like, oh my God.
Like on the Dorito side, arguing with the Dorito side ref, like at the net.
Yeah.
And the next point starting. So, like, what do you do at that point? You're a player, and
you don't belong
there at all.
How do you even get all the way to the Dorito side to argue
he was
with
a player.
ref?
He was a player.
Oh, he was a player that hadn't left. Yeah. Okay.
So you'd played a point, start talking to a ref.
I would treat it like
a minute goes.
I would treat it like a pod runner. If you're still on the field as a player that shouldn't be there for the match.
No, the match. Sorry, his match was over.
Oh, even worse. You can't. I don't know what you do.
What do you do?
I don't know.
It's just a dude on the field.
I don't know. All right, we are looking at the semi-pro breakdown. Nice graphic here. You can see where we're looking at. BR Factory trying to move forward.
TPP crew. TPP crew looked good yesterday. They're doing much better than I anticipated a first-year semi-pro team to do.
Yeah, they looked real dangerous. When I watched them their very first point, I'm like, well, I don't really know these guys, but man, when they came out here on Friday, they looked just real aggressive, real fast, very dangerous team. I don't know how much seasoning they have. Now, TPP, which is Tito's Paintball Park in the northeast corner of the main island of Puerto Rico, if you look across all the divisions, there's a lot of TPP teams here. Mm-hmm. So obviously there's just a factory of teams going on down there, which means a lot of practice.
I actually think TPP crew practices, like, they're mostly in Orlando.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've been out to Legacy Paintball Park a few times, and they're there practicing.
Makes sense. Relatively short trip from Puerto Rico over to Florida. I mean, a lot of teams are willing to travel now. So,
and
here you go.
And TIKIS TOTEM right here in Tampa. Their field is 15 minutes away.
Yeah, super close.
And it is a wonderful facility.
Is it?
Yes, they have some of the flattest ground you'll find. It looks made for paintball.
Florida's all flat. What are you talking about?
Well, even out here, we got a little dip in front of here and a little thing there. And we're in a parking lot.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bug our head ref. So BR is going to get that point, and unfortunately for Collision, they're going to start down a body.
Yeah, so that was a major on LA Collision on the last body, and I thought that they would have had bodies to serve. Maybe somebody walked off. Maybe the referees. Or
if it was a minor, they should have had bodies to fulfill that penalty. But
even if they had a major, I think they still had 4 alive. But
unless they considered it
on the semi-pro field, you can't do replay.
Did he hit the buzzer?
No.
Okay. All right, here we go. Tied up. 8.5 on the clock. Distortion versus TIKIS Totem.
Look at it.
Distortion with an interesting run. They move up to that center snake tower and then bail out of it into snake 1. It looks like it worked.
I think that was intentional.
Yeah, I agree. It's just an interesting run pattern.
I think we saw Veda Ducks make that same move yesterday.
I think you might be right. Teams are coming up with innovative ways to get to these bunkers as the meta has solidified late in the weekend.
Totem losing one of their back center players, so Distortion with a body advantage and the snake.
That tower of Tiki's making life difficult for the snake player for WYLDSIDE. He's going to...
Yeah, and Tiki's moving into the snake, and Distortion just barely picking up before he gets shot.
This is Hogue again in the snake for WYLDSIDE. He's looking for that cross shot. He's got to get past this tower that's holding him in.
Yeah.
TIKIS has been more successful pushing past their own tower resistance. They're into snake 2 now.
Yeah, getting out of that spot when there's a tall tower shooting down on you is real difficult, but TIKI's losing a body out of the Dorito insert. So it's now a 5-on-3 situation. TIKI's okay. TIKI's getting all the way up to this 50 Dorito, though.
Tiki don't care. They lose a body. They keep going. They're going up to that D50, I believe.
Use the chaos of the field to help yourself out a little bit and maybe pick up a body. Distortion does know they're there.
Yeah, Distortion spread wide to the Dorito in response. He's going to keep a lane down the outside to prevent a wraparound of that Dorito brick.
No, but the Dorito's out. Dorito did get shot. Don't know who shot him.
Good reaction by WYLDSIDE. Still 5 alive.
I think it's Vasily Kankaros running all the way down the Dorito side for Distortion.
Yeah, Devin's going to take a walk. He turns to try to prevent it. It's too late. They're going to get swarmed. Tiki's going to drop this one.
Yeah, and Distortion's just going to stroll this one in. There's a landmine out there.
Well, they think there is. I don't believe there's any players left alive. Number 8's going to hunt for it anyways. I don't think that's the right move. Just hit the buzzer.
I mean, I think they're okay sitting on this.
That's true. You could also kill a little bit of time, but...
Yeah, when I think it was Zach started shooting at a bunker, Vass's...
set off a chain reaction.
Yeah. Well, Vass's spidey sense just went... He would... Oh, no. What's out here? What did I miss?
All right, BR Factory up 3 points. 7.5 on the clock. That's plenty of time to come back from 3. But if Collision can't pick up a point here, they're going to be in an awful situation. I'm not going to call this a do-or-die point, but it's kind of close to a do-or-die point for Collision.
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me that Collision would win this event with their roster and Hinge coaching, I would absolutely believe you.
Sure. Well, the difference...
down 0-3 right now.
Yeah, the difference... 1-3 versus 0-4 is an enormous difference. They need this point.
They're pushing aggressive.
Uh-oh. That Dorito's getting yanked. The ref's getting frustrated that he's not leaving fast enough. That alone can be a flag.
Yeah, so now it's 5-on-3 BR Factory. 5-on-2 BR Factory in a strong position.
Collision with a D1 and up the middle in this standing wedge. There it is. That's enough.
I was thinking that they need to consider the towel here.
Yeah, that is worst case.
Going back to the towel and drawing board here. It's 5-on-2. You're trapped. You have all the bodies.
They can
You're down a bunch of points.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to...
For Collision, the only thing they did right there is save some of the time. But they're going to be down by 4 points. They're on the edge of getting mercy killed out of a playoff. That is an ugly fate that they don't want. All right, much closer match here. TIKIS Totem down by 1 point to WYLDSIDE Distortion. 6.5 on the clock. Thanks again to pbwarehouse.com for sponsoring us. You make this website, you make this webcast happen. If you get a chance, go check out pbwarehouse.com's website. They have a lot of new product drops, including all the goggles everybody's chasing. Build your own JT packs. PB Warehouse likes to support the local community up there in New Hampshire, so thank you to them. Whoa. Whoa.
Distortion's not out there.
Whoa.
Distortion is completely not out there. Tiki's and just giving him a free point.
What the hell is going on?
That is an incredible mental error by Distortion, just giving Tiki's a point.
Tying up.
Oh my gosh.
In playoffs on Sunday.
Oh my. That is not what you want at all. I mean, I've seen one, start with 4, start with 3 even unintentionally. I have never, ever seen a start with 0 situation.
The only way I can explain it is perhaps maybe the monitors are dead in the pits and they couldn't see the clock. I'm grasping at straws here to give them an excuse for not being out there.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That is...
Ooh, you know what that is? That is a long, uncomfortable car ride home if they lose this thing. No one's going to want to talk to
Nobody called the timeout. Nobody noticed the clock moving.
What? Wow.
That is... I mean, I can't even call it unfortunate. It's borderline negligent.
Someone's going to get sued for paintball malpractice.
Oh, we're already into this point, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's see what Collision comes with here.
Collision's backs
they go
way
snake
up
on the break. They make it. They're losing their center tower, but they do have the snake. BR Factory matching them wide in the snake corner, though. Not a huge threat to a snake player. The BR in the snake now. Tyner, 32.
They do lose a player on the backside for BR Factory, but that's fine. They're killing clock.
And Collision losing their back center. It's now 3 on 5.
All right, killing clock and killing Collision players. Things are going right for BR Factory here. Collision makes a counter move up that Dorito side. Tyner now getting up to the S3.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's picked him up. So he might. And he's going to check him off, and he's going to die. Oh, he dodged it. He dodged it.
Tyner's got to be careful. He's going to get blown up himself by that D3. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Got to get super small.
He has enough room to live there. But if there's a Dorito 1, there is not. You can't shoot the bounce shot. There is a center there. He might pick him up here. The center might grab a foot.
Oh, you got to get small. There you go. He's going to choose to go to the inside. That's a safer place to be.
And he does pick up the snake.
BR Factory over the top. Polo's going to get blown up here.
There's 1. There's 2. He did not get 2. I thought he got 2, and he took it to a 1-on-1.
Yeah.
So it is a 2-on-1, I believe, for Collision. They still have that Dorito player out there.
BR Factory has the Snake Tower and the D1. Collision coach cannot towel out or they're mercy out of this match. They have no choice but to let it ride. Hope for the best. See if Middleton can pull this one out.
He needs to win a gunfight or something quickly.
Yeah, some 1-on-2 magic.
Oh! He shoots 1.
That's the beginning of the magic. It's now a 1-on-1.
So 1-on-1 in a 4-0 situation and gets eliminated.
Oh, so close to a magic for Middleton.
Twice they almost pulled that back from the brink.
That leaves BR Factory player alone out there. He's going to walk it in. That'll mercy out Los Angeles Collision.
Yeah, so Castro, when he decided to launch, gets the first player clean and just whiffed or didn't see the Snakeside Tower.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get shot until about the Snake's brick.
Yeah, the Dorito.
The Dorito.
Yeah.
So he had two bodies looking the other way.
Oh.
Not that I didn't make basically the same mistake yesterday, but...
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. We can edit that out. Don't worry about it, Dan. Nobody saw it happen.
Everybody saw it happen. It was embarrassing.
All right, BR Factory's going to win this thing. He's not even sure. He's not hitting the buzzer. There's no reason not to hit the buzzer unless you think he has a hit. There's
you
no
can
way
just hang out.
Yeah, but there's no way the Collision coach is going to towel. Why would the Collision coach towel?
To be very, very sure. But here's the thing.
No.
If I wait my 4 minutes and then I push the buzzer, what if?
It's a dirty hang?
What if?
Okay.
Match is over anyway.
Yeah.
4-1. Great.
Yeah, you're right. All right, we got 4 minutes to airtime to fill.
So,
hit the buzzer. Please hit the buzzer.
There it is. So he does hit it. To my knowledge, the rulebook does say that the break time will be 1 minute plus the other team's point with a minimum of 2 minutes total.
Okay.
So when Tiki's just strolling on out there, hitting a buzzer, with nobody to play against, we immediately went to the 1 minute clock. And I was like, oh, that's a little strange.
Oh, okay. So you think that's all right?
Not that that's a reason to not be out there. That caused
the confusion, you think?
I don't think it caused Distortion to not be out there.
Yeah.
But it definitely caused a very fast turnaround for Collision.
Well,
so if I was Collision and, I need a point, I want that extra time for rest and game planning and headspace.
Fair enough.
So Distortion does get 5 on the box.
Yeah. That's a nice change of pace for them.
Tiki's probably disappointed about that.
Distortion.
We go 5-on-5 paintball. Here we go.
Let's see if Distortion can get out of their own head, because that has got to be very difficult pill to swallow after that last point. Distortion now moving up the middle, split wide. I think that might be Roberts
Nate,
getting a check.
Nate is going to get a minor.
No, yes, sure enough.
And an emotional support flag to go with
it. Yep. WYLDSIDE Distortion down to just 3 players left. They pushed into the D1, home, and the mini temple over here in Snakeside.
And Tiki's in a strong position, but he's 5 alive. Real strong positions right now. But Mike Unger is out there. Musket Mike Unger. He has a nasty, nasty shot.
Well, he's going to need to catch some Totem players in transition or in sloppy gunfights.
Totem is in the Dorito side wedge, it looks like. The Dorito 3.
Nope.
Snake insert.
No presence in the snake yet. That's the home for WYLDSIDE, desperately trying to hold him out of the snake.
Yeah, that's Eckerd.
If Eckerd can get in the snake... Oh, I'm sorry. If they can get in the snake, that pretty much should finish it. Totem snake player could crawl pretty much the length of it.
Yeah. And I know Mike Unger pretty well, and I don't think he wants to get in the snake. But he's going to have to find a way. But with Alex Zudel up in the snake side wedge now, just completely cutting it off.
There's the home taking a walk for WYLDSIDE. Just 2 players left.
It wouldn't shock. Oh,
he decided to go for it. I think he took one in the back. That might be. Yeah, that is both. That is it for WYLDSIDE Distortion. Totem's going to pick up 2 points in a row. Totem went from a down by 1-2, which is not horrible, to a free point and then a convincing win there. So they're going to go up 3-2 on this match.
Yeah, I love to see guys jogging off the field after a point too.
All right, WYLDSIDE Distortion, they got to get their heads right.
Yeah, it feels like the momentum is solidly in Tiki's favor right now.
Yeah, that kind of crazy no point we oopsied and didn't send our team out to play the paintball game, that's got to rattle your headspace of your players. And I wonder if that had an effect on that point. I mean, you got to be in your pit. You're going to be like, what the hell? You don't even know how to process this as a player.
There's a lot of experience in that pit.
They can't have run
blast camp players, I believe.
Okay, but they can't have run across that situation too often.
No, but there are plenty of players in that pit that have played pro, and you just got to move on.
Yeah,
and I think that they have the experience and maturity and intelligence to go, you know what, we screwed up. Okay, it is what it is. We got to go.
Short-term memory, move on.
Just move on.
All right, that's a wild one. I would love to hear a full explanation, but I don't think they're going to be eager to give me one.
I'm sure I'll hear the story at some point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Years from now.
Yeah. No. Well, Nate Roberts is a very, very good friend of mine. It's at his wedding, so.
You're an inside man. Go find out.
And I did play with Distortion. 3 years ago. So
this is the point where you say wouldn't have happened on my watch. Go ahead.
No,
Dan.
Absolutely not.
Get it out. Get it out of your system.
I got a major in overtime playing with Distortion in a Sunday's semifinals match with PB Fit, and I absolutely cost us the game, and it still bothers me today.
And you're not on Distortion anymore. Huh?
Yeah, go figure.
All right, Dan's processing some stuff right now. We're going back to the Totem versus WYLDSIDE game.
They are
4.5 on the clock.
Snake on the break for Distortion. Looks like he makes it clean.
Totem, pretty standard play. I think they're going to try this weird sideways run into the snake. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's playing wide out in the open, looking for an opportunity to jump into the snake. It's not going to present itself, so he's going to instead go
Distortion
forward.
Snake insert getting a check. They're playing the snake. They're playing the Dorito side hard right now. I'm looking at 3 guns facing that way, and a snake side tower is the only gun really looking here.
That was an interesting option play for Devin. He had the option of trying to dive into the snake. He couldn't get the free lane, so instead he changed roles and go right up the middle to that standing wedge.
Well, there's nobody looking there.
Yeah. It was the right thing to do.
So I think that's Kankerous.
Oh, he might catch this move sideways into it. Yeah, he does. Devin catches that move sideways from home. WYLDSIDE's going to lose the player.
And he shoots the Dorito 1 as well. It is now a 3-on-5 situation in favor of TIKIS, and TIKIS going all the way to the 50 Dorito. Big launch.
They're going to lose their Snake Tower, but that's okay. They're still in control of the situation. For Distortion, this Snake player's got to do some damage. Devin launches. I'm not sure.
Gets one.
Yeah, he gets one. That's a decent trade.
Yeah, he just ran completely by the 50. Oh, here we go.
Oh, this is going to hurt.
Somebody's going to hear something.
He's going to get blown up in the back.
And Zach is still alive. Zach Hogue hears the gun, moves forward to bunker him sneaky.
So
right when he launches.
Frankly, for Tika, they're lucky that Zach hits a shot.
He hits the shot. So Zach Hogue is going to steal this point.
Zach goes full hero mode. Oh, no.
He's okay.
All right. He opted for self-destruct on the button push.
Going fast. They only have 3 minutes.
Nice work. Well, game is tied up now, 3-3.
I wonder if I do push that button.
Oh, you think you milk the clock?
I'm just thinking about it, right? You know, you force him to towel. You have the button. You're the last player alive. You don't want a dirty hang. And you're going up a point. So if TIKIS isn't paying attention, maybe it gets down to like 10, 15 seconds, and you push the button last second.
Yeah, I mean that.
I doubt that would happen.
Then you're seeing if the WYLDSIDE Distortion coach even cares about the clock, because the game's only going to be tied up. When the game is tied up, I'm not sure who gains the advantage by having less clock.
Well, you go to overtime.
Clock time. Yeah,
and you go 5-on-5 overtime. Let's see who's.
So what you're
for all the money
by not pressing the buzzer. I'm not opposing it. I'm just let's work out this thought exercise. What you're really doing is find out what the WYLDSIDE Distortion coach wants. Does he? I'm sorry. That was a Distortion button push?
Yeah,
or
that was a Distortion button push.
So you're going to find out what the Totem coach wants. Does he want overtime, or does he want to save time? I don't know.
Yeah, just an interesting thought experiment. Like,
yeah,
guaranteed overtime, 1 point, or do you keep playing 2 minutes in between X ball, which can get stressful?
Yeah. So maybe it's a heart check. You see who can handle stress better. Games within a game.
You know, maybe you look at your pit and you say, "Hey, are we huffing and puffing?
Yeah.
Do we need a second? Maybe I just need to wait 30 more seconds to press the button."
Mm-hmm. But
you know, if people are walking off the field, just.
It's fine that you look at the pit, but if the pit makes any signal back to you, that's a penalty.
Right, so. you just observe the pit in general.
Yeah, you better be very careful as a pit. When a player looks at you, you better have all your players freeze, because if the refs interpret that as a signaling from the sidelines.
Well, I mean, you don't get your binoculars out.
No, I know, but
you just glance over and you say, what's the vibe of the pit look like right now? You know, you just glance.
Just a quick look and away. Look and then away.
You got mirrored lenses on. They can't see where you're looking.
Yeah, true. All right, WYLDSIDE Totem locked up, 3 points with 3 minutes on the clock. This could go any direction. Thanks again to pbwarehouse.com. pbwarehouse.com. Serving all your needs. Go check out their website. Live, up-to-date inventory. And I'll have a special shout-out to everybody back home up at AG watching this stuff. Hi, everybody. Trying to represent you, and I'm trying to represent you well. All right, here we go. 30 seconds.
It looks like about the same line coming out for Distortion. John Eckert, Nate Robert, Zach Hogue.
I mean, they have plenty of time to
Mike
catch
Unger
the breath.
and Vas Kankerous. Yeah. Against looks like the same 5 for TIKIS as well.
I see Roberts gunning. Moving up to that Snake Tower. 5 alive.
5 alive for TIKIS as well, but making moves on the Dorito side.
Yeah. Big push up to that D3 for Tiki. Player asked for a check in the middle. I think that's Roberts.
That is.
Take a walk.
Yep, he got shot by the 50 Dorito. I don't think anybody on Distortion saw that move.
I'm not sure they're aware. Yeah, they're still not aware. Maybe number 1 there at the home.
And that Dorito is Mike Unger going to get pulled? He is. Yeah, that Dorito 2 is now just doing damage. He's shooting crossfield. That's the paint you see coming through.
2 players left alive for Distortion. This is falling apart. Yeah. If you're the coach of Distortion, you might want to think about toweling out.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
I was going to say, I absolutely agree.
Yep.
You are 5-on-2, and you are trapped, and they have the spots.
Good work by Tiki.
Zudel's getting fired up over there.
Tiki rolled the dice on that big move up to the Dorito side early on in the game, and it paid immediately. Started munching up bodies in the middle, and then the pressure just collapsed on him, and WYLDSIDE had to fold and towel out of that one.
So 2 minutes and a reset. This is an interesting match. The approach is completely different from Tiki's. Tiki's is being really aggressive.
They're rolling
relative to how a lot of other teams are playing this.
Yeah, I would say all weekend I've seen Tiki's willing to roll the dice on some moves, and you generally in the playoffs teams kind of pull it in, play a little bit tighter, a little bit conservative, but not the Tiki coach. He's like, nah, we'll keep rolling the dice. That one paid off in spades.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily an intentional decision to go that far that fast. But it was probably like, hey, we're going to do a Dorito side push. If they're not shooting it, you go.
Are you saying the Tiki player missed his exit and accidentally found himself up at the D50?
I mean, like, we're going to go conservative on the break.
Yeah.
And then, like, nobody is shooting at me.
He just made a...
So he's like, I just need to hop one zone that they can see me in. Because the Dorito 1 to Dorito 2 zone is really the only spot that those center players can see you. And then you just go. It's just because there's where those pins are and all this, the center situation. You don't produce quite as much out of the 50 Dorito as you do the snake.
So, by the way, making that move, there is a lane for the snake tower to shoot through. I believe it's the D through D2, D3. But he did it early enough in the game that Nate Roberts couldn't set up a gun Dorito side.
If he was dedicated there on the break, he would have seen it.
Yeah. So, great timing. Nate also left the field shortly thereafter.
Well, he was the first
death.
Yeah, and it's pretty clear that Distortion wants to play that tower snake side. They adjust the gun, cross.
Tiki with a conservative breakout. They're going to lose a body and get a minor for their trouble.
Oh, that's not what you want. I'm curious who shot him.
So Tiki now spread 3 across the back in a pocket situation.
Would have been whoever's in the snake insert for Distortion would have shot him.
Yeah. WYLDSIDE still with 5 alive, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no,
it's 5 on 2. It's a matter of time now.
Well,
Unger moving into the snake.
Speaking of time, we're at a minute and a half. I don't think it's possible for Tiki to grind this out to kill the clock.
I mean, if they pick up a body and grab a penalty, maybe.
Minute and a half is a lot to try to clock kill.
Yeah.
In this situation. Distortion knows the clock. They're pushing matters.
Yeah. And Unger knows the situation. He's calling for it. Oh, getting shot, and that'll be
He got up attempting to make a move out to the Dorito.
60 seconds.
They're going to hit a buzzer. Yeah, get to check that guy. You do not want a dirty hang under 60 seconds.
No. So, by the way, I'm going to shout out a little bit here, sportsmanship for WYLDSIDE Distortion. When the last Totem player got up to walk from home, he started taking a few in the back. Distortion player communicated to his team, please stop. Let him out. That
was a ref.
Oh, come on, man. It was a sportsmanship moment.
It's paintball. You get shot. As long as you're not
I don't
pumping
think
people up out here.
Yeah, I don't think it's abusive. But when I hear any player on the field trying to be nice to opponents, I appreciate it. I'm going to have a shout out. But you think that was a ref calling that?
It sounded like a referee to me. I mean, we do have these headphones on.
Dan took my feel good moment and he just crushed it underfoot.
No, they are nice guys.
Yeah.
Distortion's wonderful people.
All right, 55 seconds, Totem versus Distortion. Do you take any risk here and try to win it, or you just grind it out to overtime? Because you've got that under 60-second risk of a major, and you're going to have to take, pun intended, major risks.
Yeah, and it's massive because if, again, first death. I think every point out here, the first, with the exception of Zach flipping the field, every other point has been the first death
has determined the win.
Has determined the winner.
Yeah.
So what I want is 5 bodies alive.
So conservative.
Yeah, you go 5 bodies alive and you deal with it. Maybe you shoot a guy on the break. Maybe you shoot 2 on the break, and then you can press.
But it's a special situation because if you wait for that, it's probably not going to happen with only 55 seconds on the clock. I think generally, if you want to say no, we're going to go try to win this, you have to take risks. Now, if you're okay with just like you're saying, roll it a little bit conservative, I think your odds of winning in 55 seconds drop considerably, even with that first kill, just because the clock changes that situation a little bit. So. I don't know. If I knew what I was doing, I'd be coaching instead of sitting here in the webcast booth spouting nonsense.
we'll
right.
see what happens here. See who takes advantage of it, who tries to go. If we have 5-on-5 for 30 seconds, I think it'll just go to time.
Yeah.
But if we get to like a 3-on-5 situation, that 5 is going to start pushing at around 30 seconds.
10 seconds.
So see Zach Hogue in the center here. They're sending Zach to the Dorito side.
Distortion 5 alive, relatively
They're
conservative
defending the
breakout.
Doritos hard right now. They're only one gun to the snake. Okay, now they've switched, and Tiki's going all the way to the Dorito side brick, and getting shot. So that is the first death.
5
We're
on 4 advantage.
37 seconds. So 5-on-4.
Distortion making a little push boom. D1 to D2. Now to D3.
We're here. Distortion knows the situation. They're 25 seconds. They get one more.
Starting to keep rolling bodies into that Dorito side.
Oh, but Distortion losing a player. So, yeah, we're going to go to time here, assuming we don't see a penalty.
Yeah. A minor is acceptable. A major would flip it, so I don't think anybody's going to be
Unger's going. Unger's going. Unger's going. 6.
This is risky. He
5,
got it. No, is that
4,
enough time, is it?
3, 2. Unger.
Oh, my
Michael
God.
Unger absolutely
Wow.
just steals the game. Musket Mike out there running people down. 1 second left on the clock.
This check is
and
going on.
hanging it.
There it is. It is a win.
Finish.
Wow.
Distortion coming back. You want to talk about mental space, not sending a point out
Holy
there?
crap. Yeah, right?
How about that for a comeback?
That absolutely should have rattled any team. Great. That means they don't have the awkward, silent ride home trying to figure out what the hell happened. Congratulations, Distortion. Way to go, Unger. Blowing that one up.
So, yeah, that was just absolutely incredible.
Wow. Incredible point. Distortion handling it
Nate
with a little
the
bit more
coach-
calm.
Nate the coach there, like,
It's like, yeah,
he
Yeah,
is
hey.
completely nonplussed. He does
Hey,
not
fine.
care.
yeah. Don't let it go to your head, boys.
Kevin Wank is like, I don't know about that.
I'd be a little bit more celebratory. All right, you're looking live into the pit.
Yeah, they're all like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, happy. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just an average Sunday.
I mean, realistically, you really haven't won anything yet.
That's a good way to look at it.
Be fine. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we made some mistakes and we were able to overcome it, but, like, we got another game to prep for.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, hey, thank you everyone for joining us for that amazing finish on this match. We're gonna take a little bit of break and slide into the next one. Thank you, pbwarehouse.com, and thank you, Dan, for joining us
Absolutely. Always a good time.
again and again and again. Have a great time. Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back in a couple more minutes with more semi-pro playoff action. Thank you.